Hey guys, Scripture here with another video. This is pretty funny. And this is one of those things, when you're a hammer, everything's a nail, right? So because it can't just be a story, it can't just be fun, it can't just be what it was for all these years. Now we got to talk about how 1977 Star Wars was part of an agenda, a feminism agenda, instead of just being a fun movie. Everything has to be a cause. Everything has to be for the fight. It's just so lame. And I'm sorry, but Mark Hamill lately has been super lame. I couldn't believe I was on Twitter and I discovered what he charges for autographs. And people are like, oh, he doesn't charge that. The convention charges that. No, they charge that based on what he charges them to appear. So if he's charging them an inexorbitant amount of money, they have to charge an inexorbitant amount of money to the fans. That's how it works. So this whole deflection, it's not him. If he told them he was going to show up for $2,000, right? Because he's worth $20 million. If he said, hey guys, I'm going to come in for cheap today because I just want to, do something for the fans, and I'll come in for $2,000 and you can give them, we'll do autographs for $20 and I'm going to do this many. Right? People are like, oh, well, if he doesn't charge that much, the lineup will be too long. Well, no, you have a set time, and when the time is up, you leave. That's how it works. They don't just sit there until there's no one left in line. And if you had a set amount, then there would be people at the convention that would say, okay, sir, I'm so really sorry, but he committed to 300 people today. You're the 301st person in line. So they would put up a sign, or they would do something to stop more people from lining up. This isn't like rocket science. No, it's because he's charging the convention a ton of money. So all that to say, he's a very disappointing person right now. It's sad. He's literally he is Jake Skywalker. As mad as he was about Jake Skywalker, Mark, you are him. You are him. You're just a grumpy guy. I think he's half cut at these conventions all the time as well. Anyways, I don't want to just sit here bashing on the guy, but this is ridiculous. Effortless feminism. So at a fan expo in Chicago, Star Wars legend Mark Hamill had a very high praise for A New Hope, specifically pertaining to the representation of Princess Leia in the movie's feminist story arc. That's what we all thought. I know, guys. We all fell in love with Star Wars because of its feminist story arc. We all talked about it, I remember. It was we were like, whoa, man, look at this feminism. This is awesome. A New Hope remains one of the most beloved additions to Star Wars movies and TV shows. Well, it's not an addition. It was the first movie ever made. Everything else other than it is the addition. Anyways, whatever. It's not whatever. In fact, despite the nearly 50 years since the original trilogy debuted, A New Hope, The Empire Strikes Back, and The Return of the Jedi are still frequently regarded as being Star Wars' best movies. Well, they are. Now Hamill has specifically called out the arc of one of the Star Wars best characters, Princess Leia. Well, no, there was no women in Star Wars. Disney did that. Disney's the one who brought in all the diversity, bro. There was never any girls in Star Wars. That was Dave Filoni, and Kathleen Kennedy did that. In his Fan Expo Chicago panel, Mark Hamill Live, Hamill highlighted the effortless feminism, specifically as revealed in a video posted by Vavavera on TikTok. Hamill joked about how Princess Leia made chumps of Luke and Han Solo and had no fear whatsoever when she faced off against Vader. So why is it that that's how we view feminism? Feminism is making men look like chumps. I've never thought of it the other way. Oh man, that guy's super cool because he made that woman look like an idiot. That's awesome. That's good for the cause. It's just but feminism's all about it's not about raising up women. It's about putting down men. He literally just admits it. It's just what are you doing? Okay, anyways, let's just see what he says. Although this perspective will undoubtedly be controversial to some, as even the term feminism has become loaded in this fandom and beyond, Mark Hamill's assessment of both A New Hope and Princess Leia's role in the movie is absolutely perfect. Let me just see something really quick here. Oh, yeah, okay. As Mark Hamill correctly pointed out, Carrie Fisher's Princess Leia was a brand new type of hero for movies like Star Wars, And this was in part because it was such a massive deviation from how women were typically depicted in stories of this kind. Specifically, Hamill identified Leia not as a damsel in distress stereotype, but rather as a take-charge hero in her own right, willing to mock Tarkin to his face in front of the terrifying Darth Vader. This was clearly quite different from the role many women characters had played in science fiction thus far. Thus far? There's like hardly any science fiction up until now. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Yes, she is a really cool character in that sense. Like, she's definitely not a damsel in distress. Although, if Luke and Han and Chewie don't go on the Death Star to save her and go get her, she's there for life and gonna get tortured. So she had to get saved. So it's not that she's not a damsel in distress, it's that she's that and so much more. Like, she's all of those things. And she was technically a damsel in distress. Yes, 100%. What's wrong with that? She's all those things. She's definitely not like a weak, woman that can't do anything. But she's also a damsel in distress. That's what made it cool. She's all those things. Like, they always try to, like, pigeonhole everything into this linear line of thinking. It's this one thing. No, it can be more than one thing at the same time. Again, when you're a hammer, everything's a nail. Leia's incredible arc only continued from there in Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. Leia proved to be absolutely essential to both the rebellion and the future of the Jedi. She not only served as a leader in the fight against the Empire, but also consistently helped and at times saved Luke. The sequel trilogy then proved that after the Empire fell, Leia remained... Okay, so let's just think about this for a minute here. So Leia is on Hoth, running the rebellion, and got people out of there, right? They managed to get enough people out of there. They still lost. Like, they lost Hoth. It's not like she prevented the Empire from taking Hoth. Not to say anyone else could either. Okay. And in Empire, the Empire wins. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't think any of them, like, really succeed. Any of the main characters really succeed in that. But again, she's herself. She's very has it all together. She's not some weak-willed loser. But I mean, this idea that she was like doing it all. I mean, they were a team. Everybody was saving everybody. I mean, yeah, she shot some guys on Cloud City, and so did Chewie. Like they're all running around together. They're all doing stuff together. And you think about even in Star Wars the original, when like they're in the trash compactor and all that stuff, C-3PO saves them. Like, everybody has a role. That's what made the movies fun. That's what makes Rey suck, because Rey is all those things and does everything, and no one else does anything. Whereas in the originals, they each play a role and they each help each other out. Han, saves Luke at the end of A New Hope, right? Leia senses Luke after he falls through the chute in Cloud City and goes back and gets him, risking her life, in a sense, right? Because they don't know what's going to be back there. So, this whole idea that, like, it's all about one or the other, or that everyone only ever just thought Luke was awesome and no one cared about Leia or anyone. Like, no! Everyone always did! Princess Leia toys sold plenty of toys. Like, this is just nonsense. Well, okay, let's go to Return of the Jedi now. In Return of the Jedi, what does she do? What does she do? She helps get the shield generator down. She helps along with Han, and Chewie is huge in that scene, right? He's the one who gets in the walker and takes out all the guys and then blows the doors off the thing with the walker. While Leia got shot and Han was just kind of like, whatever, didn't know what to do and screwing up on the doors. Again, it's called a team. Everybody's valuable. It's not a feminism thing. It's just a fun story. And then the sequel trilogy then proved that even after the Empire fell, Leia remained a major player in the galaxy. Ultimately, she was also a huge reason for the First Order was able to be defeated as well. I don't remember that. If anything, in the sequels, her role was totally taken down notches compared to the originals. What does she even really do? I don't know. She's there. She gets blown out into space, and then I'm just trying to think if there's any accomplishments really that happened for her in those movies. And then they gave the sacrificial lamb thing to the purple-haired lady, so she didn't do that. She was estranged from her husband and whatever, okay, and then she got the weakness of Starkiller Base from Finn. I'm not really sure what she did, honestly. I don't even really know what she did in those movies. And then, of course, Carrie Fisher passed away, and then she was just like Rey's buddy for a couple scenes. Rey trained herself while Leia stood there. So, if anything, in the sequel trilogies, they did her dirty. Truly, there are very few characters as impressive, influential, and beloved as Princess Leia, despite decades of new characters being introduced. Again, while Hamill's choice of words might sadly stir the pot. It's just dumb. His description of Leia's role throughout the Star Wars franchise was entirely accurate. It's not, though. It's not. That was never the intention, and that isn't what it was. And we all know that. No one's like, yeah, the point of Princess Leia was feminism. No one thinks that. Except for Mark, because again, when you're a hammer, everything's a nail. Everything has to be a cause. Maybe George Lucas was just making a cool movie. Maybe he didn't have some social cause behind it, right? Maybe it was just a fun, cool movie. And that's it. Right? I've never heard George Lucas talk about this feminism stuff. A New Hope really was a beautiful representation of a feminist story arc. And that how brilliant a character Princess Leia was. So essentially being a Spitfire and not being afraid of Vader and Tarkin is a feminist thing. I don't get it. I just thought she was a cool character. I don't get it. Yeah, I literally don't get it. And again, she was a damsel in distress, but she was also strong and could shoot a gun and, was ballsy. All while being quite feminine as well. Not, modern, our type of feminism we're getting now, which is all about putting down men instead of just being cool. Made chumps of Luke Skywalker and Han Solo. When? When she was in a cage and they saved her? Like, what do you mean, made chumps of them? What are you talking about? Anyways, guys, that's it. I don't know. Mark Hamill, I think he's lost his mind. I don't know. Everything he does now is this, like, political thing. He just can't, like, say anything about anything that doesn't bring in politics for some reason. He's, like, obsessed over it, and it's kind of sad. Like, dude, get a life, man. Go do something fun instead of just being mad all the time and ranting and bringing in political crap. I just don't understand it. Who wants to live like that? Like, or unless if you do, bro, go run for office then. Right? Like, he thinks he knows it all and he can, he's the guy. So you run for office then. Right? And then you can talk about it all day. But otherwise, like, actors constantly talking about politics gets old, man. It gets old really, really fast. Same with musicians. Like, once in a while, okay, fine, whatever. But, like, every tweet, every interview, now he's bringing Leia in. I'd love to hear Carrie Fisher's thoughts on this. If she thought she was pushing a feminist agenda with Leia, or was she just acting in a movie? It was fun, Anyway, it's just, I don't know. It's getting old, and Mark needs to stop because it's not helping his reputation to just constantly be talking about politics. Anyway, guys, let me know in the comments section what you think. If you like this content, please like, subscribe. It always helps the channel. Feel free to check out anything else on my channel. Have yourselves a really good day.